Hello there, you beautiful soul. Welcome to Plant-Based Cooking with Rebecca once again. And not only am I here to bring you another nutrient-rich plant-based dish, but I'm also here to remind you of how amazing and abundant you are, so never forget it. So last week, I brought you a yummy coconut chia seed pudding, and if you have not had the chance to make it yet, do yourself a favor and do so, because from the feedback that I got, from the people that I made it for, they absolutely loved it. And it's actually one of my favorite recipes as well. So definitely take the time to make the recipe. And when you do, comment on the actual recipe video and let me know how you enjoyed it. So today, I am going to make a very simple potato recipe. So oftentimes people stay away from potatoes because they say that they're too high in carbs, especially people who tend to have like high blood pressure, diabetes. But there's a misconception about potatoes, and potatoes are actually very nutrient-rich vegetables. And it's one of the most commonly used vegetables. It's low cost, and it's grown during the seasons where they're easily accessible, right? So I have russet potatoes growing right now, and potatoes are kind of have been a part of my entire life, really. I mean, I grew up eating potatoes. We came from a very humble upbringing, and my parents didn't have a lot of money for expensive foods, right? So potatoes were those vegetables that we always had in stock, and my mom made them consistently. And so I'm gonna make you a potato recipe that I really love to eat, and I did implement green chili from New Mexico, which is one of our staples. I've actually been making a lot of recipes with this green chili. And what's great about New Mexico green chili is that oftentimes it's offered throughout the United States. There's states that will have like Hatch Chili Week. I remember when I was living in Kansas, there was this grocery store in Lawrence, Kansas that I used to go to that had Hatch green chili, and they would do like a season of products that they would get from New Mexico, and I was able to get Hatch green chili in other places. So today, like I said, I have these russet potatoes growing, and the reason why I started them was because oftentimes the potatoes take a little bit longer to cook. Now, potatoes they're a macronutrient food. So you have your good carbs. They're very, very low in fat, actually, and depending on how you cook them, because oftentimes the missing component of getting nutrient-rich food is like not dousing it with all the bad ingredients, right? So oftentimes when you eat potatoes, you're eating like French fries that have been highly processed, or you're eating like stuffed potatoes with like cheese and sour cream and all that stuff. All that stuff is fine in moderation, but if you want something that's more sustainable, you can have sustainable ingredients that are really nutrient rich and they're super filling. Like potatoes, that's what I love about them, is that although they're high in carbohydrates, they're actually like they're energy fueling carbohydrates. So I do always recommend that if you're going to eat potatoes, that you eat them during your busiest days, right, where your digestive system has already awoken. And usually between like 11 and 4 is when I always recommend people to eat starchy carbohydrates like this, because especially with potatoes, they're actually a little bit easier to absorb, and they're rich in minerals, vitamins, and all the good stuff, right? So what I did was I actually, because majority of the nutrients that you're gonna find in vegetables is in the peel. So I tend to keep my, I like to cook with the peel on the potato. So I cut it a pretty good size. This is a good size. And I have it going right now. Like I said, this is going to take a little bit longer, typically like 15 to 20 minutes to kind of soften. So what I did is I just prepared the other ingredients that are going to go in there. So just a few weeks ago, we roasted green chili. I've been making stuffed chile rellenos, or that's the same thing, chile rellenos. And I've found a really amazing way to make them vegan and that nobody even knows the difference. So good. So I love to use green chili just because chili is really high in nutrients as well. And then I love the fact that, you know, we have the ability to buy the green chili whole and then roast it ourselves. So I have I had 3 roasted chilies that I peeled and I diced. So if you don't have easy access to Hatch green chili, there's actually a frozen brand that I really love. I believe, I'm going to look it up and I'll put it in this description box, but it's by a brand called Bueno, and they do Hatch green chili and red chili as well in the frozen section. And I've seen it in other parts of the United States. So, I mean, if you want to use bell peppers, you can use bell peppers. I mean, I love using bell peppers in my potatoes. But for the sake of this recipe, I'm going to do the plum tomatoes and then, or the Roma tomatoes, sorry. The Roma tomatoes, I'm doing 2 of those. And then I did 3 of the roasted chilies. So that's probably about maybe half a cup to a cup. I'm going to do portabella mushrooms. So I'm going to do 2 caps, 2 portabella mushroom caps. And you can also do them, you don't have to do the caps. You can actually already do them diced. But when I went to the store, these are the only options that I had. So I just went ahead with these. So as you've noticed already through, if you have been following my YouTube channel with plant-based cooking, you'll notice that I tend to use a lot of whole foods, right? And that is the biggest thing with doing the veganism right or plant-based eating right, is that you want to make sure that you are getting whole foods into your diet. And if you're not doing that, that you're consuming a bioabsorbable smoothie. I talk about isogenics all the time. And honestly, isogenics has been a game changer for my lifestyle because it's just made my life so much easier. I don't have to do as much prepping. So typically, I'm only worrying about 1 meal for the day. So, and then I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables throughout the day. And then I have 2 smoothies. So you want to make sure that you're eating, especially if you're trying, whether you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, you want to make sure that your protein intake is pretty high so that you're getting anywhere from 70 to 100 grams of protein, which majority of people are not, you know. Our food in our society today is, it is depleted of nutrients. And because everything is highly processed, people are going through drive-thrus more, people are not prepping, you know what I mean? So one of the biggest things about plant-based living is that you are being more mindful about, you know, how much whole foods you're getting into your diet, and also the preparation of it. You know, everything counts, every ingredient counts, and you want to make sure that, you know, your ingredients are coming from sustainable soil. Our agricultural practices in America have really changed. And, you know, because consumerism and the demand, you know, it's one of those things that companies need to make money, right? So they're going to try to water down and make more money. Well, so with fruits and vegetables, people think, oh, well, veganism is too expensive. It's so expensive to eat healthy. Not really. Meat's actually a lot more expensive than veggies are. And you're getting, you know, stuff that's grown from the ground. If you are going to farmers markets and stuff, you have the ability to get stuff from local, or even going to more sustainable grocery stores like we don't have it here, but one of the grocery stores that I actually really enjoyed going to when it was easily accessible to me was Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is one of those companies that, although it's grown, you know, and expanded its doors throughout the entire United States, what I do love about Trader Joe's is that they are highly sustainable, and they source from brands that are doing things right. So they try to do like non-GMO, you know what I mean? Whole Foods, there's been some controversy with Whole Foods, but you know what, whatever. Every company as it's growing is going to have its own challenges or whatever. But again, you want to make sure that you are sourcing, either if it's not from farmers markets, local farmers, that you're going to grocery stores where you know that they are sourcing sustainably, and that you're getting good quality, food, as hard as it may be these days. But if you are cooking things at home, it'll make things so much easier for you to track what you are putting into your body. And so this dish right here is filled with vitamins, minerals, nutrient-rich food that's going to be fueling. It's energy fueling, right? So this is a meal that I would typically have at brunch or like an early dinner, a really early dinner, because I try not to eat a lot of like starchy vegetables really late in the day. I typically like to eat something that's very easily absorbable, because if you eat really starchy vegetables or stuff that's really high in fat, stuff that's really hard to digest, you're going to have a harder time going to sleep. Your body's going to have a harder time breaking down that food. So if you're eating stuff like this during the day, when you're moving, right, you're getting more movement into your body, you're active, your digestive system is awake, it's not going to impact you as much as it would be if you were eating it really late at night. And even with this, this is high packed in these are the types of vegetables or potatoes that I would highly recommend people eating, not French fries from McDonald's, or that's not really considered a nutrient-rich vegetable by the time that it gets to their fryers, because it's frozen. And so like you'll notice here, I'm using all fresh vegetables and easily accessible too. So again, if you don't have easy access to the green chili, you can use jalapeños, you can use bell peppers, and you can use like a salsa if you like. But this is going to be a really nice brunch bowl. You can make this in tacos, like with corn tortillas or even flour tortillas. Everything with holistics, I like to say that is really about moderation and really paying attention to your body and eating stuff that's bioavailable for you, so that you're not just eating to eat, you're eating because you want good nutrients. So I'm going to top this off. The potatoes, I think, are, let me see. They're starting to get really soft. And I don't really use like a lot of oils, although I did start these in avocado oil. You'll notice that that's pretty much the only oil that I use to do like sautés and stuff. And then for Asian dishes, I'll do like sesame oils, peanut oils, and stuff like that. But those oils, like olive oil, coconut oil, I tend to use more for like sauces, stuff that I'm not going to really heat and stuff. And so I did about maybe a cup of spinach. If you've ever sauteed spinach, you know that this gets like, it shrinks up significantly. So a cup and a half, even doing 2 cups is not going to be, it's not going to seem like a lot. So I'm going to cover this up again really quick. And I really use like minimal seasonings oftentimes, just because you get a lot of your flavoring from the herbs or from like the other veggies, like the onion. You can even do garlic. I didn't do garlic this time, but I like to use sea salt when I do season, just to kind of get a little bit more flavor. I'll use a little bit of black pepper. And you can even use like cumin if you want to. You can use there's so many other seasonings that you can use, but I really love to infuse my foods with the, I love to use cilantro a lot. You'll notice that I use cilantro. I like to use parsley too. You can use parsley. And then you can top it with salsa and avocado. So this is gonna be a really nice superfood potato bowl that you can use again in burritos. You can use them in tacos. You can use them just as a bowl and then just have some toast or something like that. But that's it. That's it. And make sure that, you gauge the potatoes. I was telling my mom, I was like, how long do you think that you leave the potatoes cooking for? And she's like, I just kind of gauge it. And so do I. So I just always make sure that the potatoes are like, you can cook them as soft as you'd like to. But once you put the veggies in, I'd like to leave it for another 7 to 8 minutes, just so that the other flavors can infuse together. And there you have it. You have an amazing, nutrient-rich superfood bowl using a very basic potato. So if you have not had the chance to subscribe to my channel, please do so. I really appreciate it. It helps my channel grow, and it also helps other people who are looking for nutrient-rich recipes, very simple recipes, to have access to, right? Like, comment, whatever love you want to show. I really appreciate it. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next week. Peace.